Project optimization requires balancing multiple factors to achieve the best possible outcomes within the constraints of a project. Among these, the most significant and interdependent variables are cost, time, and resource availability. These factors form the foundation of the project management triangle, also known as the triple constraint, and project managers must carefully evaluate the trade-offs between them to ensure project success. This article explores the dynamic interplay between cost, time, and resource availability, highlights common trade-offs, and provides strategies for effective decision-making in project optimization. The triple constraint: cost, time, and resource availability. Cost refers to the financial resources required to complete a project, including expenses for labor, materials, equipment, and overhead. Controlling costs is critical to maintaining project profitability and meeting budget constraints. Time represents the schedule or duration needed to deliver a project. Meeting deadlines is essential to achieving project objectives, especially when there are contractual obligations or market pressures for timely delivery. Resource availability: resources include human resources, technology, materials, and tools necessary for executing project tasks. Resource constraints often determine the feasibility of meeting time and cost objectives. These three factors are inherently interdependent. Any adjustment to one element typically impacts the others. For example, reducing the project timeline may increase costs due to overtime or expedited processes, while resource shortages can lead to delays or increased expenses. Trade-off scenarios in project optimization. 1. Minimizing cost at the expense of time or resources. 1. Scenario: a project manager might prioritize cost-saving measures, such as reducing labor hours or using less expensive materials. 2. Impact: extending the project timeline due to reduced manpower. Lower quality or limited output if resources are inadequate. 3. Real-life example: in construction projects, opting for cost-effective materials might delay procurement or necessitate additional labor to compensate for lower material efficiency. 2. Accelerating project delivery at increased cost. 1. Scenario: tight deadlines may require additional resources or paying for expedited services, such as overtime wages or premium shipping. 2. Impact: increased project costs due to rush fees or higher resource utilization rates. Strain on available resources, potentially affecting other projects. 3. Real-life example: in IT projects, accelerating a software release may require hiring temporary developers or purchasing additional licenses for faster deployment tools. 3. Balancing resource constraints by adjusting time or cost. 1. Scenario: a project with limited resource availability, e.g., a skilled workforce or specialized equipment, may necessitate extending the timeline or incurring higher costs to secure additional resources. 2. Impact: delays in project completion if additional time is needed to mobilize resources. Increased costs from outsourcing or resource acquisition. 3. Real-life example: in manufacturing, limited availability of specialized machinery might lead to outsourcing part of the production process at a higher cost. 4. Optimizing resource allocation at the expense of cost and time. 1. Scenario: to maximize the efficiency of resource use, a project manager may adopt strategies like resource leveling, which can extend project duration or increase costs. 2. Impact: improved resource utilization but potentially slower progress. Higher administrative or indirect costs due to extended timelines. 3. Real-life example: in healthcare, scheduling staff across multiple shifts to optimize their utilization might require higher administrative costs or a longer time frame for completing tasks. Strategies for managing trade-offs. 1. Prioritizing project objectives. 1. Clearly define project priorities. 1. Is cost control more important than speed? 1. Is meeting the deadline essential, even if it increases costs? 2. Action plan. Use a project priority matrix to determine which constraints are fixed, flexible, or negotiable. 2. Scenario analysis. 1. Evaluate multiple trade-off scenarios to assess the impact of different decisions on cost, time, and resource availability. 2. Action plan. Use what-if analysis or simulation tools, e.g., Monte Carlo simulations, to model the consequences of adjustments in one or more constraints. 3. Efficient resource allocation. 1. Optimize resource utilization through methods like resource smoothing or leveling, without overloading resources. 2. Action plan. Employ capacity planning tools to ensure balanced workloads and avoid bottlenecks. 4. Phased or incremental delivery. 1. Break the project into smaller, manageable phases to deliver critical components earlier while optimizing for cost and resource constraints. 2. Action plan. Use methodologies like agile or rolling wave planning to adapt schedules and resources incrementally. 5. Stakeholder engagement. 1. Involve stakeholders in decision-making to align trade-off decisions with organizational goals and expectations. 2. Action plan. Conduct regular status reviews to communicate trade-offs and seek approval for adjustments. 6. Contingency planning. 1. Allocate contingency budgets or time buffers to address unexpected challenges that may arise due to trade-offs. 2. Action plan. Identify high-risk areas in advance and include risk-adjusted reserves in the project plan. Tools and techniques for managing trade-offs. 1. Critical path method, CPM. Identify tasks that directly affect the project timeline and assess their impact on cost and resource allocation. 2. Earned value management, EVM. Monitor project performance in terms of schedule, cost, and resource efficiency. 3. Kanban or Gantt charts. Visualize project progress and resource allocation to identify areas needing adjustment. 4. Multi-criteria decision analysis, MCDA. Evaluate trade-offs between competing constraints using weighted criteria. Conclusion: balancing cost, time, and resource availability is at the heart of project optimization. Each trade-off requires careful consideration of project priorities, stakeholder expectations, and the organization's long-term objectives. By adopting data-driven decision-making, leveraging advanced tools, and engaging stakeholders, project managers can navigate the complexities of the triple constraint and deliver successful outcomes. Ultimately, effective project optimization lies in finding the right balance that aligns with strategic goals and delivers maximum value.